Hi everyone, I'm just basically giving an update 12 weeks in really. I think I did one probably after about 4 or 5 weeks, and I'd just like to try and keep the transparency and the flow of communication from the club through to the fan base. It's been non-stop, as I think I've probably mentioned before. We just finished the game literally and had a fantastic win against St Ives, and we're really pleased, and you could feel that there was a bit of momentum in the crowd and there was a bit of enthusiasm from the crowd, which is certainly the first time I've seen that in the 12 weeks I've been here. Talking about off the field to start with, really, what we have done is we've tried to rebuild the model, reform the way things were before, which obviously wasn't working. So we've done a few things early on which I've mentioned, and that was bringing in the wet bar, a different management team back into the wet bar, Ella, who's in charge of that, and in the main bar. And then we brought Julie in on the food within the ground. Again, she'd left and she's come back, and that's been received really well. Over and above that, the real challenges have been our engagement within the community, really, and it's something that we feel very strongly about. And in the endless meetings we've had, probably more to do with that side of it rather than actually trying to raise money. And I think that's just the start of a thing that's going to be a project that's going to be a lot stronger before the end of the season and into the start of next season. What we have done, we've engaged with the youth setup, Bromsgrove Colts. We've engaged with the Wildcats and Alan Williams within the girls. And we've also got with Alan Horton and the ladies, and Richard and John Livesey and Bogdan from Bromsgrove Colts. We're basically trying to create an umbrella of communication, an umbrella from Bromsgrove Sporting's point of view, which embraces the whole pathway that we want to create and engage with. Over and above that, we've a situation on commercial side, where we've now created a commercial team that's not just Joe Amos and Matt Foden, it's also Simon Cadwallander and Vicky Onions, and that's already proving to be successful to try and get more commercial activity, primarily for next year, but also for this season if we can, but primarily for next season, and that's an ongoing scenario. Over and above that, the real important things are the three main sponsors for the club, which are Steve Land from Swallows, Elliot Nash Construction, Elliot Nash himself, and Martin Fosh from Waste Management. We're all a bit disillusioned, really, when I first spoke to them, and I think there was a possibility that they would maybe not be re-engaging for next year. That certainly was the feeling that they gave to me when I first met them. I'm really pleased to say that the support that they've given us and the meetings I've had with them have been so positive to such an extent that we are looking to engage with them further going forward, and they're going to have a bigger part to play in the future of the club going forward. So that's great news in that sense. But really bringing it up to speed and up to date is last Thursday, we had an EGM which I called for with the shareholders. Myself and Richard Bourne, who were brought in by the board as chairman and vice chairman at the very start 12 weeks ago, had never been ratified by the shareholding, and I do think at the end of the day it's very important as part of the ongoing situation that we want to take the club forward, is that everybody's in full approval of the situation. So we had an EGM to ratify that, and I'm pleased to announce that was all agreed unanimously. But the second point on the agenda, which is huge for the club really in terms of investment, which is badly needed for the club, is primarily there was an Articles of Association point that needed to be ratified and confirmed, and it's actually gone back quite a while, probably a few years, where it was discussed and probably verbally agreed but never ever ratified. And we had a vote on that. And I did a presentation on the basis that if these articles are agreed and the motion is accepted, we've got investment lined up, which is the case. If you don't, and it's not agreed, that investment won't be here, and that will have a massive negative impact for the club. So the reality of the situation, we had a 96% approval, which was really pleasing, and it means that now the executive board we can now push on with all the various decisions that we need to make, and there are lots of them to come. And what I'd like to try and do is something like this on a regular basis, maybe every 4 or 5 weeks, to keep you in the loop really, because I'm very excited about what's going to happen next year. But the first priority is to make sure we stabilise the club, which that I think is the case now. And then we can really start building it to hopefully improve on the football front and also off the field. Just going back to the football front, I think Tim's just done a post-match interview, and I think he's explained that there's been quite a bit of activity going on this week. We've had to bring in some players, desperately needed some players to strengthen the squad, but we also needed fresh faces. So there has been 5 players in the last 2 weeks that have come in, and the names have been given out, and we basically have parted company with a couple of players. There may be another 1 or so, depending on what we bring in hopefully this week. But we're really trying to stabilise on the football front, try and recreate a bit of passion in the stands, and that certainly was there today, which was really nice. So I'll keep everybody posted. It's a valuable 3 points today, and there's lots of things that are very positive off the field, and I'll keep you posted over the next 4 or 5 weeks. Thank you.